It's me, Percita, and this is Percita's Paradox. Here we are. It is Thursday. It is raining and doing some crazy stuff where I'm living, so it's making me a little dreary and a little down. And I realize that it's actually the temperament that's going around so much right now. We're all feeling a little out of sorts, right? So let's talk about it. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate your time, and I respect that you have come to my channel, hopefully looking for a good time and some great advice and some fun, and I hope I give you that. If you are a OG, an always follower, someone who has been supporting me from the very beginning, I greatly appreciate you, as always, joining in today. So, I really wanted to take the time today to really discuss a thing that I think it's kind of like a little undertone of what people are feeling. And I think a lot of people feel as if they are not really supposed to say it because it's not something that we typically talk about at the top of the year, right? We typically talk about at the top of the year all of our newnesses and the things that we've left from last year, and we're starting anew, and things that we're going to accomplish, and so on and so forth. And even I have gotten on the channel and talked about the things that we're doing to progress, and we're talking about how to move forward and where we are and all these things. And then I really come to this harsh reality of really looking at people and circumstances and things that are happening around me and that I'm hearing, very, very passively, very soft, but it still exists. And what that is that most people right now, in a truthful place, are really just feeling emotionally drained. And what I mean by that is that so many things have not really changed for a lot of people, right? We're in a pandemic. We're hopefully at the end of the pandemic, or at least closer to the end than we've ever been. We're talking about the vaccine. We're trying to get it out to people. Cities and, all over the states are literally trying to get back open, and we're trying to get back to some sense of normal. But the truth of the matter is when it's all said and done, and if we're really being honest with ourselves, including myself on this channel today, right? I'm being completely transparent in saying that there is still a struggle that is unknown, and we're not willing to necessarily talk about it because we don't want to deal with the fact that we would really be carrying negativity over from last year to this year. But the truth is that it's very complicated to act as if things aren't happening when they're happening. And what I mean by that is that people are feeling emotionally drained. Even if you're seeing things that are actually in a progressive state, even if you're actually thinking in a progressive place, there's just something in the air that just permeates. It's really hard to be in a happy place when you see your man, your mankind, your brotherhood, your sisterhood, just others not really where they want to be, or not really happy, or you're still seeing residual from all of the hurt and the pain. There's still so much mental illness that is really being triggered and acted upon for so many people. There's so much heartache. There's so much breakup. It is very difficult to really move through that, because that minutia, that chaos, that hurt, that uncertainty still permeates as we speak. So what I wanted to talk about today is, one, I wanted to put it out there to let everyone know that you're not alone. I feel it on a daily. I fight it on a daily. I get on this channel and I try to make sure that I am giving you all that I can give you for you to feel as if there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But what I refuse to do is to not allow you to see my transparency, to say it is very complicated for me to watch anyone go through any type of hurt or any type of struggle, especially when it's not at any liberty of their own actions. And when we're talking about a pandemic, we're talking about something that literally came and just took us out and took us all out, even for us who felt as if we were prepared and felt as if, we could handle it. And yes, we'll wear our mask, and yes, we'll do all the things that our government is asking us to do. And I still would say that I feel like 100% of us feel that way. Even for the people who felt as if it wasn't that serious and, we're moving on, are starting to understand that we are really in a place where people are needing and really, 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 really not even wanting, needing things to happen for them in order for them to just have basic necessities and to live. And I don't want to make light of that. And I don't want it to be where I am coming off unaware of what is happening. So I just wanted to come on and address that and to say, yes, it is happening. Yes, that emotional drain that you're feeling is real and it should be respected. And I want to make sure that I'm doing that. And in saying that, I want to then lend just a simple, heartfelt conversation that says it's going to get better. We have to believe that it's going to get better. We have to believe that the bare necessities that have been taken from so many people will not only come back, but come back in a swarm of abundance and successes for them to be able to sustain just their everyday living. I mean, even something as crazy as the winter storm that hit the Texas area recently is just so unusual, right? It's so abnormal. It's hard to kind of keep picking yourself up from all of this tragic stuff. And I wanted to really just come on and say, I wanted to acknowledge it, and I wanted to come on and say, like, I am absolutely in prayer for people. I am doing everything that I possibly can for people, both seen and unseen. But I also wanted my subs to know that I'm with you in prayer and in, any aspect of the spiritual realm that I can give. Obviously, if I was in a financial place, I would be giving as much as I possibly can to everyone that would be in need. But I obviously cannot. So I am aware and wanted to speak on the fact that it is okay to be emotionally drained. It is okay to still be in need. It is okay to not have reached a goal. It is okay to just be in a blah place. Like, it does not always have to be, this place of you feeling as if you're being left behind because you don't feel as if anyone's going through what you're going through. You feel like you're going through it all by yourself. And I just wanted to touch on it. I know I'm not really in a space that I can give anything more than encouraging words, and seeing that is what I can give, that is what I'm trying to give. And to try to lend any sense of support, any sense of direction, to just simply tell you, you are not alone. Now let's talk about some of the things that we can actually do for ourselves and for each other. And I would start off by saying it is crucial and for you to actually be okay with telling yourself that you're not okay. If there is something or someone that you can actually speak to. And what I mean by something is that when I don't have a place that I can actually feel comfortable in speaking to maybe an individual, maybe I just don't want to really tell my business or how I'm really feeling. Maybe you have the friend that you can talk to, but they give you so much positive that you feel sometimes like you can't just vent and just say what it is that you want to say, and they don't have any rebuttal. I know I tend to be the friend that always has the rebuttal, and I'm learning to just keep my mouth shut. And if you're running into someone like me, it's sometimes easier even for myself to just journal. And I'm the type of person that I'm not willing to allow someone later on in life to come up and see, some of the things that I've written. So I'm notorious to literally write it and then I burn it. And some people might say, well, what do you mean? If I write it on a piece of paper, if I use a journal that I actually rip the papers out and I walk into my backyard and I take a lighter to it and I burn it. I used to try to leave it on my phone, but then I realized that was just as dangerous, if something was to happen to me and people had to go through my stuff, as if I would actually have a physical journal. So that's something that I do. That's something that I would suggest if you feel as if you need to get the words out. Because those words we discussed from our last video are crucial. It is super important for you to know that you have to speak that hurt out. You want to get that poison out of your body, same way you want to speak positive. You want to get the poison out and you want to bring the positive in with the same sense of words. So if that is something that you feel like you need to do because you don't really feel like you have someone to talk to, please make that the first thing that you try in your newness of trying to just address your emotional fatigue and just being real enough with yourself to say, this is what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. And understanding that there's nothing wrong with you being fatigued. And there's nothing wrong with you actually writing down the sense that you're feeling fatigue. Right? Number two, if you're really blessed with someone in your life, again, that you can talk to, please open up. Please make sure that you're not isolating yourself. Please make sure that you are really trying your best to be around people who are positive. It is super hard to really want to be around people when you're not feeling your best. You may not feel like you're looking your best. You may not feel as if you just bring something to the table. I know I have a lot of friends who are out of work right now, and their jobs really identified who they were. Like their worth was really tied into their work. And a lot of us don't recognize that that's our case until you don't have work. And it's so crazy because so many of my friends who have always had the opportunity to go to yet another job are finding themselves just completely bewildered because their entire industry has been annihilated. Like there's nothing that they can do. There is no other work. There is no, once the pandemic is over, I can go back to work concept, because that entire industry has been demolished. And in that, it is very complicated to just really figure out where you're going. It's sometimes easier to speak to individuals who are in the same situation and can relate. And it's sometimes harder at the same time, because if negative is permeating in the spirit of the person at that particular junction, then they're going to have a hard time trying to uplift you. But do your best to try to find someone who's in the opposite emotion that you're in. If you're feeling down, then you definitely want to find someone that's absolutely going to speak life into you. And in the same breath, you want to be your brother and sister's keeper. And if you can give something back to an individual, it is crucially important that you also do that. So just keep in mind that there is a likeness of what everyone is going through, even if it doesn't outwardly get expressed, right? So you want to be able to find like-mindedness when you need it in these dire times. 3, please make sure that you're taking breaks. And this is for the people who actually are still blessed with work. And again, you're trying to keep your friends and your family uplifted. Take the time to understand that that is work. That is absolutely work. And that's an extension of work on top of what you actually are still doing as your livelihood. And take the time to really understand that it is hard to help when you're not in a capacity of fullness to do that. So take the time to just kind of shut off the phone for a second and really be in a space where, of course, you're grateful. And of course, you're grateful, to be honest, of where you are and what your circumstances are. And you know that you are in a space that is different from your brother or sister or friend or whatever, but you still want to be in a place where you can absolutely refuel so that you can continue to do whatever you can to help others while they're still in need. 4, find whatever spiritual connection it is that you have. Now, this is where it gets tricky, because a lot of my subs are not really spiritually based people, and that is absolutely fine. So if this does not fit for you, skip right over it and go right on to the next point. But for the people who need to just remember that you can get through it, and you will get through it, because you are still in your purpose. And what that means is that you still have life in you, breath in you, and there's still a purpose for you. So I need you to focus on that and understand that you can absolutely still pray and hope and have faith, and understand that it's just a season. Same way it rains, there's not going to be rain always, right? Trouble doesn't last always. There's going to be sunny days, and this is a season for you to understand that even though you feel like you are really being buried and smothered, that always remember that things that are planted has to grow. And you will absolutely grow and be bigger than you've ever been out of this craziness. And lastly, just really understand that you are loved and you have purpose, and you are very important to everyone around you, including myself. I want to know that you understand that, and you know that you are important. So when you feel as if that is not the case, I want you to literally refer back to the other points that I made and just understand that no matter what, your worth is you. It is not what you have. It is not what you can buy. It is not your job. It is not anything but you. You are important. And I'm sure that if at any point you feel as if you're not, I just want you to focus on you knowing that if no one else has said it to you, I'm saying it to you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And that is absolutely something to focus on, and know that you have purpose and you must fulfill your purpose. And that purpose will always be greater than any circumstance that you will ever come across. So again, I just wanted to touch on the emotional fatigue of what we're dealing with. I wanted to touch on just what that means to so many. And it could mean, again, a plethora of things. It could be something very, very minute, and it could be something very large. But understand that neither one is greater than the other. To feel it on any capacity, to feel this emotional, literal, fatigue, disdainment in your body on any capacity is important. So you have to address it. You have to know that it is only a season, and you have to know that you can get through it, and you will get through it. So as always, all I'm going to ask is that you continue to do whatever you can for yourself and for others, and you do it in a place and time of trueness and authenticity. And being in that, you're living your life authentic. And there's nothing better than knowing that you're doing everything for yourself and for others in a manner of no expectation, not expecting anything back, but the simpleness of you fulfilled what you were supposed to do. And however it's received, it's received. Because you cannot get caught up on how it's received. You can only get caught up on what you can control, which is if it's delivered. Right? So, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate your time. I greatly appreciate you. And I am praying for you, and know that I am absolutely rooting for you. And I know that this will pass. This too shall pass. And I believe that. As always, have a wonderful weekend. Do what you can. Rest up as best as you can. And I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.